Dear Madam Chairwoman, it is with deep regret and much sorrow that I tender my resignation to the University of Cambridge. It is with heavy heart and great sorrow that I say goodbye. Due to familiar obligations and work on my YouTube channel, the time simply has gotten away. However, our work is vital, and I will not leave you in the lurch. I have several names, several recommendations that could gladly step in and take my place. First, there is Chris Blue 007, Focal Ball, Luke Skywalker 90, Robin 176. Oh, sorry, I didn't see that. Excuse me, I stopped that. I was in the midst of typing a letter, but I can get back to that. Sorry, since you're here and it's Saturday, let's continue the tradition. And I have two movies here to review, and let's do that. Okay, the first movie that I will be reviewing is a movie that I recently picked up. Now, this is a movie that I saw the trailer for a while back, and then I think it came out, but it was like a limited release. I didn't hear about it for a long time, and then all of a sudden I saw that it was coming out being released on Blu-ray and DVD. So I picked it up, and it's called The Awakening. There you go. See that? The front, and that's the back. This movie stars Rebecca Hall, Dominic West, and what's her name? Get this name right. And Imelda Staunton. Okay, and this is the story that takes place in 1921, England, and it's about a young woman. Her name is Florence Cathcart. I guess that's how you pronounce her name. It's played by Rebecca Hall. She's what you call a ghostbuster. She goes around dispelling when people try to make up phony claims of ghosts and stuff. She goes around basically disclaiming them. Going around, she goes around and disputes them. That's what she does. Okay, and they even show a good example of it in the beginning of the movie. Okay, and then she gets a visit from a Robert Mallory. He works at a boarding school, and he got sent there because Florence is very famous, and she's even written a book, and she's sent there by Maud Hill, played by Imelda Staunton, who's I guess you'd call her the head mistress, I guess, of the school. This is an all-boys school. Okay, and she's the head of it. Well, actually, no, she's not the head of it. I'm sorry. She works there. I'm sorry. There's a reverend that actually is in charge of everything, but she works there. But she's a big fan of Florence, and so she sends Robert Mallory to fetch her because there's been a death of a student there, and a lot of the students there are afraid that and they report that they've seen a ghost. Of course, at first she turns them down. Okay, but then she eventually relents and she goes to the school. Okay, and like I said, she has, I guess for that time, she has like all these modern contraptions that can, like she strings a bell along on a rope and stuff to tell her. So, and she has these wind type machines that can tell, I guess, when people pass by, and she puts this certain powder on the floor. So she has all these techniques to bust people that do these phony ghost things. Okay, so she comes to the school and she sets up her equipment, and basically even after she meets a few of the students and asks them questions, and they tell her about seeing the ghosts and stuff, and then of course she sets up a shop to do her ghost busting, and she actually solves the ghost thing, and she solves it, I think, within the first night that she's there. She actually stays up and does, and then she actually the next day she actually gets a student to confess that because she actually saw somebody pretending to be a ghost, a little kid running around, and so she actually kind of resolves the issue of the ghost. But then the movie takes a strange turn. Well, not a strange turn. Then it takes a turn. Okay, right after they solve this, then she actually does start seeing ghosts. Okay, so but and it actually shakes her up to the core, and then she actually decides to stay and get to the bottom of this. Okay, now I love the atmosphere in this movie. It's like, how these English movies or movies set in the UK, they have, they set place like this boarding school is set in the countryside in this big ominous looking house, and it looks, the atmosphere is great, and you have good acting from Rebecca Hall, who plays Florence, and Dominic West, who plays Robert Mallory. He's like a veteran of World War, because the movie takes place in 1921, and he's a veteran of World War One, and he has sort of an injury, and he's, like I say, he's kind of a hard ass at the beginning, that he doesn't really believe in Florence and stuff. And then you have Imelda Stanton, who plays Maud Hill, like I said, she's I guess you can call her the cook, and the mistress, and she takes care of the laundry and stuff for the kids, for the young boys. And she believes in Florence and what she does and stuff. She says she's a big fan of hers. But anyway, this movie, like I said, after she actually sees some actual ghosts, and then it shakes her to the core, and she decides to stay, this movie takes a turn. Now, predictably, I thought it would go one way, but it actually didn't. It went a whole nother way, this movie. It actually had a twist in it that I didn't see coming. And then when that twist comes, it made me go, what the? And I wanted to actually see this movie again, actually, which I think I'm going to do, because I think the twist was good, and I didn't see it coming. So I think that makes it a really, a decent movie. And like I said, you have top-notch acting from Rebecca Hall, Dominic West, and Imelda, and even a young kid who plays see if I get his name right. Yeah, Isaac Hempston Wright. He plays Tom, a child at the school, and he's really good acting also. But anyway, like I said, the ghost story has a twist in it that I didn't see coming. I thought it was going to go more of a predictable way, I guess, but it actually kind of turned a different way, which really surprised me. And like I said, then I read a little bit more about the movie and stuff, and so I kind of understood where the twist, or how the twist was, and it makes me want to go back and watch this. The twist is sort of like, no, I'm not going to say, because if I tell you what it's like, then you're going to probably know what it is, so I don't want to spoil the movie for you. But there's a movie that's similar to this called Haunted, that starred Aidan Quinn and Kate Beckinsale. He was like a ghost, he was like a Ghostbuster too. He would bust people that try to do phony scams on saying there's ghosts and stuff. And he went to investigate the same thing. And the twist in that movie is not the same. I think the twist in that movie, in the movie Haunted with Aidan Quinn, was actually better than this twist, actually. But this twist, I think, is decent, and I didn't see it coming, and which makes you want to see the movie again to see what clues I missed, actually. So it's a well-done movie, and it's definitely recommend this to watch it. And like I say, good acting and great atmosphere in this movie. So The Awakening, I would definitely highly recommend this movie. Definitely worth checking out. Okay, now the next movie that I have is a movie that I saw the trailer for. I saw the trailer for this I forgot what movie I was watching, but it came on before a movie, and I saw the trailer for this, and I said, oh, okay, and it had a lot of good actors in it. I said, okay, and the trailer made it look interesting, so I said, let me pick this up when it comes out. And the movie I'm talking about is called Deadfall. There it is. Okay, it stars Eric Bana, of course, right there, Olivia Wilde, Charlie Hunnam, which you may know as Jax on Sons of Anarchy. Also, Sissy Spacek was in this. Chris Gustafson. Who else is in this? Yeah, really famous actors in this. And who else? Oh yeah. I'm sorry. Kate Mara and Treat Williams is in this also. And basically, it's a story about a brother and sister played by Eric Bana and Olivia Wilde. They in the beginning of the movie, they show them they just came back from robbing a casino. Them and a partner. They've come back from robbing a casino. And then you see them counting the money in the car, driving off, and then all of a sudden they get into an accident, and the car flips over. Okay, the driver, who's part of their team, he dies, of course, but they manage to get out. Eric Bana and his sister, Olivia Wilde, they get out of the car, and they manage to get most of the money, and they set off on the road, and then they decide to split up because they know that the police are looking for them. Okay, so they decide to split up, and he would go one way and she would go another way, and they would meet up towards the border, and they would try to make their way into Canada. So I guess they're somewhere near Canada. They don't exactly say what city they're in, but it's somewhere near the Canadian border, obviously. So they split up, and like I said, and it's Deadfall is in the middle of winter, of course, and there's a big blizzard coming, of course. So they decide to split up. She will go one way, and then he will go one way, and then that way they'd meet up. Okay, now this movie, like I said, a lot of good actors in this movie, but this movie ultimately failed to me because the script was really weak, and really, it's a shame. The best person, I guess the person that came off the best in this movie is Eric Bana, who plays like a likable bad guy, if you want to say that. Okay, but he came off the best in this movie, and Olivia Wilde is decent in this, but the script for this movie is absolutely horrendous. Like I said, well, not horrendous. I mean, maybe it's too strong a word, but it's not up to snuff. It's not up to the talents of the actors, and put it that way. And basically, like I said, Eric Bana, he goes one way, and basically he turns into the Wile E. Coyote. I'll put it that way, because he goes through all this crap, and you have to see all the stuff that he goes through on his way, making his way to eventually hook up with his sister again. All the stuff and that's why I say Wile Coyote. He acts all the things that he has to go through. You know, he gets physically beat the crap up. All the stuff that he goes through is to the point of ridiculousness. Okay, and then also Olivia Wilde, she meets Charlie Hunnam, who's I forgot his cat. He's Jay. He's a just released out of prison boxer who his parents are played by Sissy Spacek and Chris Christopherson, and you can tell by the conversations that they have a strained relationship. And he basically, when he gets out of jail, he kind of gets into a scuffle with he's like an ex-boxer who went to jail for basically throwing a fight, and he gets into an argument with his former manager who told him to take a dive, and he kind of gives him a concussion and runs, and he's on his way back, making his way back to his parents' house, and he runs into Olivia Wilde, of course, and he picks her up off the road, when Eric Bana and her split up. He tells her to go away, and eventually they would meet up, call each other, and meet up at the border. Anyway, she hooks up with Charlie Hunnam. He picks her up on the road, and they hang out for a little bit and get to know each other. And like I said, it's predictable, but the script, and then also another thing in this movie, Treat Williams plays a cop, and Kate O'Mara is he's like a cop in this local town there, and he's like the sheriff. So during the course of Eric Bana escaping, he basically kills a cop who basically came upon their accident when they had the car accident in the beginning of the movie, and he shoots him and kills him. And so there's a manhunt for Eric Bana, and Treat Williams is like the big cop in the town, and he has all these deputies, and he also has his daughter, of course. And they basically have him acting like an asshole to his daughter, which kind of makes no sense in the movie. In the context of the movie, I mean, why? I mean, the reason they have him acting like an asshole kind of makes no sense at all. Because if you didn't want your daughter to be a cop, and he's basically embarrasses her several points in the movie in front of everybody, in front of her fellow deputies and fellow law enforcement officers, and he even yells at her when she's even trying to do her job, and he basically acts like an asshole all throughout the movie, and it kind of really throws you out. Said why he they try to, I guess, give him an excuse by saying, I guess, that his wife ran off on him, but why take it out on his daughter? That makes no sense. But anyway, ultimately there's a showdown, of course, and like I said, if you've seen the trailer, you can predict pretty much what the showdown is going to be. The showdown takes place at Sissy Spacek and Chris Christopherson's, Charlie's, right there. His his name, Jay, that's played by Charlie Hunnam, at their house, which is near the border. There's a big confrontation with all the major players in this movie that takes place at the house, and you can pretty much predict what's going to happen. And like I said, the script is just real weak, and it's a real shame because you do have a talented cast of actors, and this again proves that you can't go by a trailer, because I saw the trailer, and the trailer made it look like it was going to be really good, but it really wasn't. The script was just really weak in this, and it could have been a so much better movie with the talent you have in this involved in this movie, but ultimately it failed because of the weak script. Okay, so that's it. And also, like I said, The Awakening, I would recommend, and I think you have to see this movie like maybe even twice to get the full gist. I say you have good acting in this, and the twist that came in this movie I didn't see coming. Okay, which makes me, like I said, want to go back and see it again to see if I can see the clues that they planted in the movie. But definitely, I would recommend The Awakening. But Deadfall, I say wait till it comes on video. I don't want to. It's on video. I mean, wait till if you want to watch it on cable. But it's not. You know, this is sort of a blind, not a blind buy because I saw the trailer for it, so it's not a blind buy. But it's not worth the paying full price for this. Okay, so even though it has a talented cast and it is entertaining somewhat, but the script is just weak and totally predictable. Okay, so An Awakening, definitely worth seeing. Okay, so this is Trepacer for Saturday Reviews. Let me know what you think if you've seen those titles. Feel free to leave your comments down below. And I'm going to go back to finishing writing my resignation letter from Cambridge. And Trepacer saying so long and take care. Where was I? Recommendation, Robin 176. In conclusion, with heavy heart and great sorrow, I must bid adieu to Cambridge, my one great love.